History on Nibiru. We are at the point where Alalu slew the king Lamu. After this battle in the tower between Alalu and King Lamu, Lamu fell to his death, and Alalu doesn't lose any time running to the throne room and sitting himself on the throne as quickly as he could. He told everyone with joy that King Lamu was dead, and he made himself king without any right or counsel. Now, some people were happy that Lamu was dead, while others were saddened by what Alalu had done. Now, this is the part of the story that I love the most. Alalu becomes king and travels to Earth. In the palace, divide remained, because some were not happy the way Alalu took kingship. In fact, a lot of the royal princes were already stirring up trouble that he had no right to self-proclaim himself to be king. Others went along with it because they could not stand being under the rule of Lamu, which was a stupid king based on the opinion of many. At this point, there is no longer unity in the lands. Many people were upset with the king. Princes were upset in the palace, and counselors were upset in the council. Anu's place on the throne had to be passed on from father to son, and this did not happen with this king or the last king. So this is why all of the royals of Nibiru were really getting riled up. It was building up into something much bigger. They still had not gotten over how Lamu the Eighth was proclaimed king and was never a descendant of An because he was adopted. So they already had issues with the kingship back in his day. Now the new king Alalu was a self-proclaimed king. No one had agreed upon it, but he was the one that slew the past king. The Council of the Wise started asking questions. Who is Alalu? Was he a firstborn or a legal heir? How could he take over? A lot of others said, hey, hold on. He's the one that killed the king. Like, he killed the king. Isn't he supposed to get in trouble for killing the king? So Alalu had to plead his case before the seven who judge, so that they could decide his fate. Even though he was nor a legal heir or a firstborn son, he was of royal blood. So he's before the judges now, and he says, I am from Anshargal. My ancestor was born to him by concubine. His name was Alam. By Shar's count, Alam was a firstborn, and therefore the throne belonged to him. And he goes on to say, but the queen used her cunning and took the throne away from him. So he's talking about the queen that I mentioned in the previous episodes that demanded that the law of succession be always trumped by the law of the seed and of marriage. So he says his ancestor Alam was a firstborn of a concubine of Anshargal, and therefore, rightfully so, based on the law of succession, the throne belonged to him. And he insists again, by Shar's count, he was the firstborn, and the throne belonged to him, making Alalu the rightful heir. So he continues to blame the past queen, and said, she made the law of the seed out of nothing, and her son that way became king. But that wasn't the law until then. He accused her of taking the kingship away from Alam and giving it to her son, which indeed is what she did. I followed the line of Alam. The seed of Anshargal is within me, and the seven who judged paid very close attention to what Alalu was saying. What will the seven who judge decide? We'll find out in the next episode.